very flash man with the old clothes, aren't you?
I want to hear a funny story. You know, I've just been in Paris for the last 2 months, and I was helping out Steve Badis and Dee Dee Ramone. They were putting a group together. I was helping them anonymously, not using my name. And Dee Dee Ramone, he used to hang out on 53rd and 3rd, and that's a gay part of town. And I guess I told it in front of his wife. So what he did was, he threw bleach all over my clothes, set my guitar on fire, and I ain't got too many good clothes left.
Can I take you back to kind of the New York Dolls days? It was slightly punk. You like the word punk, do you?
I hate the word punk. I was never a punk. I never played punk music.
And how did you describe Johnny Thunders?
Rock and roll.
It was rock and roll. And did Malcolm McLaren? He managed you very early on in New York Dolls.
He's the reason why we broke up.
He's the reason why you broke up.
Yeah. He dressed.
What did he do?
It's funny. He dressed us in red patent leather, and we used to have a red hammer and sickle flag behind us, and our motto was "Better red than dead."
You're way ahead of your time, weren't you? But he went off then and more or less kind of stole the idea of the New York Dolls and came with the Sex Pistols.
We met him when we first went to London in '72, and we bought clothes in his store, and he got the concept. Then he worked with us for a while, and me and Jerry Nolan quit the band.
And were you did you feel aggrieved when Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols came along and seemed to take...
They were great, man. They were great live rock and roll band. I mean, music isn't competitive, first of all. And it shouldn't be competitive, because music is, you like this music, I like that music. And I thought they were great rock and roll bands. To go on tour with them, it's fabulous.
Now, you grew up in New York City, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah. And you must have had a good musical education growing up in the town with all those good bands there.
I've seen the best.
Tell me some of the bands like you grew on.
Janis Joplin, Howlin' Wolf, Jimi Hendrix, the Yardbirds, Kinks, The Free.
You liked a lot of those girl groups as well, didn't you? I remember reading something about that somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I like them and all those.
So you're here, you're going to do a few gigs here now. You're in Dublin tomorrow night, is it? I think you're in Dublin tomorrow night. It's only told me you're in Belfast on Saturday, is it?
Somebody will tell me tomorrow.
Somebody tell you tomorrow, yeah. And I think you're doing a late night gig tonight. Somebody said you're going to be able to go Wild Beach or somewhere later on. Do you still like just getting on planes and trains and boats and doing all that?
I figure the only other thing I can do besides play music is be a pimp, so...
And what about New York? You don't live there anymore, no?
No, I hate New York. It's gotten so sleazy. It's gotten so... Manhattan's like the Bronx now.
So is it a damaging place to live then, is it?
Well, most places are damaging.
Yeah.
Well, it all depends how you cope with it.
Yeah.
You know? It all depends the friends you have.
I hear you had a bit of an adventure on a plane yesterday.
This is really funny. I took British Airways from Paris to London to transfer, and I just bought this new powder, this new makeup, and I was testing it in the bathroom. So I guess the stewardess went in after me and saw all this brown powder on the floor, so she must have thought it was an illegal substance.
Well, you don't have you did have a serious habit. You've been on methadone now for a long time, haven't you? Is it very hard? Do people still beat up on you every time you go somewhere on the basis that they consider you're still a junkie?
Listen, if I was straight for 50 years, they'd still call me a junkie.
Is that part of your legend though, Johnny, is it?
It's not part of it. I play rock and roll. I haven't read anything about myself in 10 years. I haven't even read the book that's been written about me. That's how I survive it.
Well, you mean that what you are now is what you are, and what you're writing about?
Well, did you ever hear anybody want to grow up and be a rock writer?
Fair comment, yeah. But by the same token, whether you like it or not, everywhere you go in the world, there are people who revere you, people who idolize you. They see you as a kind of seminal influence in their lives.
Well, I hope it's the music.
But do you ever think that some of it is to style and that you were the original rebel, the original kid on the streets of New York?
I copied everything from somebody else. You know, everything comes from somebody. I mean, Keith Richards took it from Chuck Berry. I took it from Keith Richards, you know.
And you passed it on to Johnny Rotten. Have you? Well, do you see in today's bands? Do you see a legitimate contender for your title?
There is no. Today's music has no roots. No roots at all, and I find that disgusting. It's wank music. They're just trying to compete. I mean, the rock bands, they're supposed to be rock and roll bands. I mean, they're closed. Every stud is in perfect order. There isn't a stud out of place. I mean, that's rock and roll.
Is that American rock and roll, or do you find that everywhere you go?
All over the world.
Yeah. How long do you think you can go on kind of gigging, Johnny?
Till I die.
You kind of see yourself in like a legendary blues man who'll just keep going.
I hope so. Hope I don't turn black though.
Now, what kind of do you still find a lot of motivation to write? I mean, what kind of things do you write about now?
Well, I write about children. I just wrote one about the homeless, called "Help the Homeless," about the way the Americans treat the homeless. I mean, it's just horrible.
Travesty, yeah.
It's horrible. I mean, I can't believe the way. I mean, in Tompkins Square Park, that's a park in New York. There's maybe 200 makeshift homes. They rolled over all the homes with garbage trucks.
Just to flatten them?
Just to get rid of them.
That's funny stuff, funny stuff. Well, listen, I hope the song you're going to hit me is not going to be that heavy, is it?
No.
What's this song? What's it called?
Joey.
Joey, all right. Look, you go get your guitar.